But we did
the white wedding
first.
Yes.
And then we did the traditional because
we couldn't afford it too.
Because that trip to Nigeria,
yeah, we couldn't afford it.
What you know about it? Because listen,
it took about 2 years before we were able to afford it.
And by that time, we already had a kid.
Yeah, but
shoot, you can have a kid quicker than you can get on a plane.
Yeah, but this is something I want people to get from this though, especially the men, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of men are slacking in the church when it comes to marriage.
Yes.
Because they're trying to get everything together.
Yeah, put everything in order.
The number one excuse men give today when it comes to marriage is like, I got to get my money up, right? Listen, guys, we didn't have money.
We didn't.
Right? We knew if we have love and we have God and we work together, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't have money. We didn't try. I mean, I'm going to tell a woman I'm going to marry you and I'm going to buy your wedding dress for $50 from a thrift store
okay with it.
And she'd be okay with it, right? And you have to dry clean for $25. So we didn't have anything, And, and also too, they're looking for this and that and the other, looking for the excitement, I believe that one of the reasons why we're successful today was because I married the right woman to help me, And there are many great men in the kingdom today that could be further away. The Bible says one will chase 1,000, two put 10,000 to flight, but they are waiting. Yes, what I believe, bro. It doesn't take a man who is ready for marriage more than 90 days of dating to know if she's the right person or not.
Yep.
Every second that escapes without you here with me keeps my heart anticipating till I finally see you.
When I made my vows, I told God that I was going to take care of this gift.
All my life I've been waiting for you. Girl, I've been praying for you. Been writing these love letters to you.
So I fight for that future in the present. You know what I'm saying?
That was good.
Congratulations to the ones who found love, for the hope and new beginnings from heaven above. I await my future wifey. I pray that it won't be too long, every second that...
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Laterra Sar Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes, and make sure you join our mailing list. We have some exciting things on the horizon, and we want to make sure that you're notified about it. You know what? I met this brother while I was doing a panel with Jacqueline Carr. She had this conference called You Will Win, and it's an amazing event. And when I heard this brother speak and just hear how emphatic he is and how anointed he is, I said, you know what, I gotta talk. I like surrounding myself around kingdom men. And so today I'm ready to be poured into, because I believe that this brother is gonna say some things, and his lovely wife, are they gonna say some things that's gonna add a wrinkle to my brain and be a patch for the quilt that God is designing for my future wife to cover us. And so without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast, Uyi and Faith Abraham. How y'all doing?
Great.
Wonderful.
How are you?
Man, I'm doing amazing. So y'all live in the A, huh?
Yeah.
Atlanta.
God's favorite city.
Oh, you said it's what?
God's favorite city.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not.
It is.
I think it's Dallas.
No, it's Atlanta because we're there. You see how that works?
Okay. All right. So favor is following y'all then.
There you go.
And so how long have y'all been married?
20 years.
20 years.
20 years. Y'all have built a nice empire. And as you stated on the panel, your net worth is how much?
Maybe $100 million.
100, just $100 million. It could be 99, but just $100 million. So $100 million, but it didn't start like that, huh?
No, it didn't look anything like that, actually. No, let's just be clear.
She said, let's be clear.
Crystal at that.
So Faith, how did it start? What did it look like when y'all first started dating?
It looked like nothing. It looked like I'm telling. And the thing is, we didn't even date that long.
Okay.
Literally, we met, and then
That's something special too.
Yes. 3 months later, he proposed. A couple months later, we got married.
You didn't think that didn't scare you?
No. And the reason why was because God told me he was my husband.
Really?
Yes.
At what stage?
So he said, God told me you're my wife. And I said, that's great that he told you that, but now he got to tell me.
And when did he say that though? How long y'all know each other?
It wasn't
Probably
that
like
long,
a
was
month
it?
or so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a month into it, I already knew she was my wife.
Yes.
And I told her right there. But
Yes.
looking back now, I should have kind of dated her a little bit.
He could've.
I was like,
It would have been nice.
Yeah.
So you tell me why you say dated a little bit. How many dates had y'all been on at that time in that month? Because you can go on quite a...
I think, we probably dated to married within 3 to 4 months.
But I'm talking about the moment that you said, you are my wife, how many times had you seen her?
Maybe a couple of times.
Yeah, just a couple of times,
Yeah.
like handful of times. It wasn't even like an extended thing at all.
Yeah.
I'm talking about hindsight being 2020. I could see why our parents were like,
Yeah.
"Are y'all okay?" My aunt asked me, "Are you sure you're not pregnant?" You went. She literally was like, "You're not. What is going on? Why are y'all in a hurry? What's happening?" I was like, "God told me that this is my husband. So if I know he's my husband, what am I waiting for?"
So how old were you at the time?
23.
And then you were what?
About the same age too.
And so that put perspective around it. Y'all were young, and that's
Very
why your
young.
parents had influence to be like, "What y'all doing?"
Yes, young and broke.
Yeah. And that also complicated the situation too. Young, broke. And also too, I was just new in America. So people also thought I just wanted a green card. Like,
Okay, but that part, that's real
that's
there.
true.
Now we get to unpack some things. Because you were new to America. You were from here, right?
Yes, born and raised.
Born and
Nigerian,
raised.
but born and raised.
Okay, Nigerian, but born and raised United States. And so did you think for a second that that's what he wanted?
No.
A green card?
That didn't even occur to me. It did. I'm talking about, I really feel like God just blinded me in that season so that we could get some things going and established. Because if it was up to my analytical mind, I would have been like, hold on. Here's my list. We need to do this, and this, and you haven't done any of that.
Did you have a list at that time?
As far as a person, yes. But as far as all these things that have to be done before I get married, no.
What was on your list as a person?
My biggest thing was, and that's why I didn't mind that he didn't have anything. I mean, I didn't have anything either, so, but it's true.
So let's be clear, we was both broke.
We was both, okay, like, man, it was so
But
terrible.
at 23, it makes sense. You ain't supposed to have a bunch of money at 23.
Yeah, but, okay, this is true. However, the way we were taught was go to school, get good grades, get your degree, you'll get a job, you'll be fine. And I wasn't fine. So for me,
So you had a degree at that time.
I had a degree, and I was feeling like, what's going on? How come this thing isn't working? So then now it was like marriage. I was like, okay, I got that part on my list checked off, right? Because that's my husband. Let's do the thing.
At what age did you see that for yourself?
Oh, I knew. At 15, I knew my daughter's name was going to be Zoe.
Really?
Yes.
Life. Zoe means life.
Yeah, God kind of life.
Yeah.
If you really break it down.
Yeah.
So I knew that. Now, any other kid that came after that, I don't know. But the girl, the first girl, her name was going to be Zoe, which it is. That's her name.
But did you know it was going to be around 23, 25?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even care about the age. My thing was I needed somebody who was ambitious and driven, because I'm ambitious and driven. And I can't stand somebody that I'm like having to motivate and put no, such a turnoff. I needed somebody who had a big heart. And my husband has a really big heart. And I needed somebody who loved God, because at that time I was rededicated to Christ. So it was like, if you're not in alignment with me on this, then it's not going to work. I don't care how fine you are. You could be 6'6".
Yeah.
6 foot tall with a 6-pack and making 6 figures. And I still would not care, because you don't have God. You're not rooted in what I'm rooted in. So it's not going to work.
Real.
So as long as I had that, which is what he had, I was good. And he's easy on the eyes. So that I was good too with that too.
So, but you had your family saying what? No? Did they give the blessing?
Well, some did, some didn't. But the biggest thing was he's a preacher. He has to wait on tithes and offering to get paid.
Who?
Yeah,
He
because I was
does.
in ministry
He's in ministry.
Oh, when you at 23, you
yeah, I
were?
was
Yes.
pastoring too. So it just look. The whole thing was complicated because I came to America with $100 and a suitcase of clothes.
From where?
From Nigeria.
Oh, so but y'all both Nigerian. So
Yes.
that was a check because a lot of times in your culture, they prefer you marry another
Absolutely.
Nigerian man.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That didn't keep us away from cultural differences. But go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm also from different tribe, right?
Yes.
So even though I was Nigerian, but because
That
I
was
was
the thing.
new in the country, I was to go to medical school, but I dropped out at the time.
Oh, that was-
and I
so
was
that was a
trying
red
to
flag to your parents, huh?
exactly. I was trying to do pastoral ministry. The church was struggling, and now I'm going to a dad. I'm like, I want to marry your daughter who just got a degree, graduated
Right.
from college,
Right.
and you will drop out. You're trying to do preaching work. He's not working out. You
know.
you just got to America, so you probably needed a green card or something. So,
But he had it already, so
You
that
know?
wasn't the thing.
So you had your green card?
He was
Yeah, I had at the time, but people
was already
didn't
good.
know.
Yeah,
I came
people
to
didn't know
America with a green card, but the thing is that if you're an African, people always think you just need a green card.
You're just
or-
hustling.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And I was going to be hustled out of a green card and heartbroken and left to the side, which is some people's experience.
It's quite a few that I've heard of. And so, yeah. And so that's what, it was interesting. And so did y'all get married without her father's blessing?
Technically, yes, but it later came around and gave us his blessing.
How long did that take?
Maybe 2 years
Yeah,
after
2
we had
years.
our first daughter.
Yeah, after we
We done had a child.
had a child.
Yeah.
That was his first grandbaby. I'm the oldest of 5. So it was like,
So from a
Wow.
traditional standpoint, did y'all go through the traditional way of courtship?
okay.
Have to go to Nigeria, do the tribunal stuff.
Yes.
And so y'all did all that.
Yes.
We
we
did
did.
all of that, yeah. And we also did a wedding too in Houston. But
Yeah.
also to remember too that I was broke. So I had just $100. So when I said, this is my wife, and she agreed, not initially, but after a while she agreed, right? So what happened was that our moms were like, okay, if you guys love each other, we're just going to support you guys. But our dads were like, what's
Y'all are
going on
crazy.
here? You guys are young, broke, and don't have nothing, So our moms came together and helped to fund some of the wedding,
Yeah.
And so what was interesting too is that we're so broke that, we couldn't afford any wedding dress or whatever. So I went on eBay, right? Which is an online thrift store in case you don't know. And I found a wedding dress for $50. So I bought that dress for $50.
Yep.
Then I spent $25 to dry clean it, I went to K&G, I bought a suit for $100
Yep.
and a ring for like $100. That was all we could afford.
That's it.
So our moms came together and paid for the food and the hall and stuff like that. So we literally started with nothing. I had a car at the time that was a Joe Metro, and the car will overheat every other day.
I don't even think they make that car now.
I remember those Joe Metro.
They don't make it anymore. I had to literally anoint the car every day with oil and baptize it with water. You know why? Because it will leak oil every day. So
Every day.
Father, in the name of Jesus, I got to anoint
Every day.
every single day. I got to put oil in the car every day. When the Bible says you got to anoint yourself every day, the car got to anoint every day.
That's what he was doing.
Then the car will overheat. You got to wait for it to cool down.
Yes.
And then put water and baptize in the name of Jesus every day,
Oh, I've been
And then
there.
we started with nothing. Our apartment was $440 a month, and we were struggling to make that payment,
Yeah.
So were you
Yeah.
working at the time?
Yeah, I was. I was the one taking care of everything.
So where were you working at?
Okay, so I was at University of Phoenix, but even that one, before I got there, I was working at a roller skating rink. Now, remember I said I had a degree,
Yeah.
but I still wasn't getting paid like I had a degree.
Yeah.
So I was working at a roller skating rink. So going to the university was like a level up. And we're like, oh man, I made it finally.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a struggle. And we really were like, okay, God, we're doing everything the way you want us to do it, at least as far as we understand
Yeah.
it. So what's up? Like, what's going on?
How did you feel as a man going through that?
Yeah.
It was hard, but I was ambitious. I've always been ambitious. I just felt like it was a matter of time right? For things to just kind of click for me.
For what? What did you see clicking for you at that time?
I
Being a pastor?
No. The Bible says he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. So I knew that I needed to be. One of the reasons I wanted to marry early too, if I look at it now, even though I was pastor, I had like a small church of maybe like 20 people, but I had a lot of older women in the church, like mothers in the church. And they would always tell me, Pastor, you're a young man, you got to find a good woman who loves the Lord. And they were telling me a woman with a long dress, big hat, all of that kind of stuff, And
I wasn't wearing none of that.
She wasn't wearing any of that stuff, So I almost missed her at the time.
He did. Because I'm coming with jeans on.
Yeah. So I was
that's
looking.
a heathen right there.
Yes.
That's a Jezebel.
Get the oil. Deliverance is in order. That's how he was looking at me. I already knew. Okay, I was okay with it. I ain't care. I was just coming in to love God. Sir, what we got to do in the church? Okay, I'm gonna do it. Let's go. I didn't care. I didn't care.
But I just need the right partner to build with. That we're just gonna start early, love God, love each other, and we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And when I met her, and one of the reasons too why, even though we didn't date long, so when I started the church here in Dallas, in Arlington, she was also in Arlington too. So I said, hey, I'm going to start a church from scratch. Could you help me? And she said, okay, I'll help you. We're just friends, And then she would come, and I was able to observe her. I mean, she always give tithes, right?
Yeah.
So she always give tithes. She was serving. She was faithful. So I was able to observe her heart. I just knew that she had all the qualities I needed in a wife. And I've always been this kind of a person that when I know something belongs to me or something I should have, I just go for it, I don't always think about all of the details, like my wife balances me today, So I just she's the one. I knew she's the one. Now I'm going to marry her.
Yeah.
Was you, when you were observing her in friendship status, was you also crushing on her? Was you like, yeah, she fine?
Of course.
Did you know he was looking at you like that?
No, I thought it was just like we were just cool. Like I didn't.
No, she didn't even know because even when I
she looking at you surprised
she didn't even know.
years later?
Because it took her about a month or so before she said yes, though, right?
Yes, about what though?
To okay, dating or marriage. Because I remember when I told her the very first time that I prayed about it, God said, you're my wife. And she said, okay, when do you go from being my pastor to now being my husband?
I had
questions.
It
was hard for her to kind of see that transition, but I was ready
or even more so, not just pastor, but my homeboy.
Exactly, my friend.
Because y'all wasn't even dating.
We're not
you just
that
went
time.
from straight friend to fiance.
Exactly.
Yes. And that's what I believe.
And he even proposed at church. Man,
during the Sunday service?
It was a Thursday evening. We had the Bible study on Thursday evening.
It was Bible study.
Yeah.
Did you see it was coming?
No.
Yeah, I used to have some of the church members to help me organize something.
They knew, but I knew nothing. I was just coming in. I was just chilling. I was just like, let's do it.
And how long from when he said, did you ask her to marry you after she gave confirmation that God had told her that you are indeed her husband?
So I told her, God said, you're my wife. I would love to marry you. Then she gave all this, when you go from pastor to become my husband. Took her about a month or so. I was praying and she was having other people pray with her as well on the side. Yep. Then when she gave me the confirmation, I think we engaged 11, 18, which was November, and then, I told her a month after, then she said, okay, I engaged her in November, and then in December, we got married.
Mm-hmm. The next month.
Yeah. So we did like a small wedding, in a house of one of our church members at the time.
So did y'all have to go back to Nigeria though? Did y'all have to go back to the village?
Yeah.
I went to Nigeria.
Because so by the time he did go to Nigeria, so you got to fast forward a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we get married, and in between that, we do an introduction. So I take him to my dad's house and say,
knock at the door.
Yes.
Yep.
And then my dad has to bring his friends. My mom brings her friends.
Yep.
And we say that this is the guy that I want to marry. Right. So then from there, what traditionally you do, and it just depends on your tribe too, but traditionally, you immediately go
over the village.
You go to the village, you go to back home, wherever that is, you do the traditional marriage, then you do the white wedding.
Right.
But we did
the white wedding
first.
Yes.
And then we did the traditional because
we couldn't afford it to.
Because that trip to Nigeria.
Yeah. We couldn't afford it.
What you know about it? Because listen,
it took about 2 years before we were able to afford it.
And by that time, we already had a kid.
Yeah, but
shoot, you can have a kid quicker than you can get on a plane.
Yeah, but this is something I want people to get from this, though, especially the men, right?
Yeah,
because a lot of men are slacking in the church when it comes to marriage.
Yes,
because they're trying to get everything together.
Yeah, put everything in order.
The number one excuse men give today when it comes to marriage is like, I got to get my money up, right? Listen, guys, we didn't have money.
We didn't.
Right? We knew if we have love and we have God and we work together, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't have money. We didn't try. I mean, I'm going to tell a woman, I'm going to marry you and I'm going to buy your wedding dress for $50 from a thrift store
okay with it.
And she'd be okay with it, right? And you have to dry clean for $25. So we didn't have anything, And, and also too, they're looking for this and that and the other, looking for the excitement, I believe that one of the reasons why we're successful today was because I married the right woman to help me, And there are many great men in the kingdom today that could be further away. The Bible says one will chase 1,000, two put 10,000 to flight, but they are waiting. Yes, what I believe, bro. It doesn't take a man who is ready for marriage more than 90 days of dating to know if she's the right person or not. Right? A lot of men are just keeping a woman around forever. Like, sis, or bro, I don't know who should I talk to now. Are you going to be still engaged to somebody for 5 years? Like, what else you need? You need an angel, Gabriel, to come from heaven. It doesn't take that long. If you're ready for marriage and you know what you're doing, it shouldn't take you more than 90 days to find or to know the right person for you. If she's the right person or not the right person. So even though I was young at the time, but I've kind of grown and matured enough to know what I wanted. And when I saw who I wanted, I put aside everything else to go for her. And maybe that's something for somebody watching right now. If God brings the right woman to you, don't keep her around forever. Don't try to make her a baby mama, Wife her because there's a blessing coming for you.
Absolutely.
That's good, Uyi.
Absolutely.
Listen, that's good. What made you defy the naysayers? Because I know you had a whole lot of naysayers, Faith, telling you, girl, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Why are you rushing? Are you pregnant? What, this a $50 dress? Girl, come on. I got a homeboy right now back at home in Nigeria that got some bread. Like, why are you doing that? Like, how did you deal with that?
My thing was, once I heard God on it,
didn't matter.
I didn't care what anybody had to say to me. I really did not care. Anything that came at me could not stick.
What came at you? Because there's some people right now that is prioritizing other people's opinion about the person that God has confirmed in their life versus what God has said.
You're talking about family members, the ones that you really love and you value their opinion. You're also talking about, because the enemy will start putting doubt in your mind too. And then your exes will start calling. Child, them exes will call you.
She got some really handsome guys too that I was fighting against, bro. I got to fast and pray though. I got to say this real quick. I'm going to say this real quick. They're going to continue, babe, right?
You got to fast and pray?
Yeah, because at first she didn't kind of see how that transition was going to be from pastor to becoming husband, and everybody some people in the family and friends were not seeing or supporting it, and I got discouraged, but I did not quit, bro. So what I did was that I got some of my friends and we're praying and fasting. Like we're praying, like one time we prayed like for 14 days, like 12 a.m. midnight prayer. that
The
God,
midnight
I'm telling you,
prayers.
that God will speak to her. So I don't get men nowadays that'll be like, I like her, but she's not feeling me, so I'm going to go talk to somebody else. No, I did not do that. I was fasting and praying because see, when God gives you a good woman, right, it's worth that fasting,
It's
that
worth
prayer,
it.
that pursuit,
It
that
is.
sacrifice for. That's what happened to me.
And it's not a manipulation thing at all, right? Because
No.
some people will do it to where they're praying and fasting, like, tell her, it's me, it's this, da da da. That's manipulation because now you're trying to usurp somebody's own will. But you can pray in a way that you don't pray amiss. You pray in a way that you allow God to move. You allow him to do his thing. You allow him to intervene in the situation. Like we always want these miracles and we want these signs and these wonders. And I'm all for it. I'm a miracle girl. I love it. However, we don't let God do the everyday miracles.
Yeah.
And we don't let him just come in so that once something is done, we can really say, I had nothing to do with that. God did that.
There it is.
God did that. So if you want the result that you're seeing out of my life, you got to go to the God that did it.
Yeah, there it is. So what changed? Like you said, those exes are resurfacing.
Oh, yeah.
What were they
Calling the
saying?
sister up, you know?
But were they coming with not just I want to date you again, I miss you? Were they coming with intentionality, saying I want to marry you?
No, exactly. There was an intent. It was just, hey, I'm back. Yeah, you back, but what is it? And that's another way that I feel
To
like I was
discern.
absolutely. Because what do you want? What are you doing? What are we
You're just
doing?
coming as a distraction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because with him, yes, God said what he said, but then also too, he was very clear on where he was going. He was very,
Preach,
I'm
baby,
talking about,
preach.
I'm talking about,
Because that was important.
That's
no, it was very important because
Very
it was
important.
a vision, because I had a vision for my life as well. So before I even shared that vision with him, he was sharing his vision with me. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing how this thing is going to work. And I didn't have a problem because he was already showing leadership qualities, submitting what I felt like I had going on to the lead, because the umbrella of the vision that he was given was big enough for what I felt for my own life to come in. So it was...
Go ahead. I'm getting a little excited.
He gets turned on. Wait y'all get back to that hotel. You might have another kid on the way.
And it's getting hot in here. Can you turn on the air or something? I'm hot already. All right. Good. I like when she talk fine. She gets spicy and she gets sexy. All right. Go ahead. Sorry. All right. Go ahead.
But it's true.
Yeah.
I saw it. I really saw it. And
Yeah.
when you would be telling me things and saying things,
Yeah.
I could see how I would fit. I could see how our kids would fit. I could see like where we were going. It was almost like
Yeah.
God was like turning a projector on my mind and showing me the future before it was even happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I talk to a lot of guys, and I've never had that type of experience where I was seeing my future just through the words somebody was speaking.
You take him to church now. Yeah.
She said I could see my future just through the words that he is speaking, basically.
Yeah.
But let me tell you
No,
something.
see, but we didn't have time to get digmatized. So I had to use the words.
There it is.
I had to use the words.
There it is. And the reality is this is because he is embodying what God is.
Absolutely.
See, so because God, you see your future from the words that he's speaking. And so when he identifies himself as husband, he becomes the earthly vessel of who God is in your
Absolutely.
life. And he's like, so he'll speak provision and destiny and all that stuff and goals and legacy. And we're going to do this with our kids and we're going to have this and I'm going to build this. And you looking like, I see it.
Yeah.
Because the
It was
Bible
easy.
says life and death are in the power of the
Power of
tongue,
the tongue.
and they that love it eat the fruit thereof. And so if he's speaking life and you just eating it and you just eating, you like, oh yes, I believe we're going to have this. We're going to have, and I love it when people are able to be visionaries, when they're able to, where they stand in a little small apartment, but they go drive to the nice neighborhoods
That's
and
all
go
we
drop.
did.
That's
That's a definition of a good time
Right.
for us.
Come on. Come on.
And I gotta say something. I gotta give my wife a lot of prop though, right? Because even though I think even at the time, there were other guys she was kind of talking to that were more qualified and other stuff. But I had certain things they did not have that I think set me apart, right?
Talk on it.
One, I had strong relationship with God, which was important to her. And two, I had intention, right? I wasn't just trying to just hang out and Netflix and chill, whatever. I had intention, destination. I wanted us to go together. Then third was I had a vision. Bro, like you said earlier, even though I had a 1-bedroom apartment, I had no bed. I was sleeping on a futon.
It was a futon.
Right when we got married. I had no couch. A church member donated an old beat couch to me.
I think it was
I
built
had
in
no
the 80s.
no dining room
set.
thing.
It was a desk.
There was a desk.
And a computer.
So it was all crazy. There was nothing. But I had the audacity to have a vision. The Bible says, write down the vision and make it plain. Right? I told her, I said, yeah, you marry me right now. I don't have a lot of money, but I say if we stick together, guess what's going to happen? I said one day, very soon, we're going to both be multi-millionaires. And I said, I'm going to retire you before you're 30 years old, and I did it.
Before you're 30?
Yeah, at that time she was in her 20s, right? I said, I'm going to retire you. You won't ever have to work a job a day in your life, and I did it before she was 30. I said, we're going to be multi-millionaires, and I did it.
That sounds very aggressive to say in 7 years you're going to be a multi-millionaire.
Because I knew that we were going somewhere. It was just a matter of time. We just needed to work together and ignore whatever was going on. I've learned to, because when I was in Nigeria, I had a really good pastor and I read a lot of books. So I knew how faith works. You got to put it out there, you got to write it, and you got to work towards making it happen. I already knew the system, but I was just waiting for my manifestation time, right? And I needed the right partner for us to build together and enjoy together and impart the word together, right? I was driving a Joe Metro that was $600 that I took 6 months to pay off, but I had the audacity to say one day my dream car is a Rolls Royce. I'm going to get me a Rolls Royce. I'm going to get you one. And I did that. I got me a Rolls Royce. I got her one. We got multiple Bentleys and so many blessings.
You got multiple Bentleys?
Yeah, just two. Yeah.
So hold on. So you got 2 Rolls Royces and 2 Bentleys?
Yeah. I had 2 Bentleys before I went to 2 Rolls Royces. Yeah.
So
but
Bentley, and then went to
Okay, so you traded those in and got the Rolls Royces.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, I thought you had 4 doggone.
No.
I'm like, let me have one. That ain't fair. Why y'all got 4 of them?
Church was going to talk about you, though.
Yeah. You better be ready. The saints gonna come.
I
don't think you need all of that.
Vision. But let me say something too, though, that really, really inspired me about my wife that I think maybe some women can learn from, because we are also too in this generation of materialism when it comes to certain women because of social media, whereby it gotta be rich, it gotta be tall, it gotta blah 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 blah. Nobody want to marry a man who's starting from nothing, right? In all those years, right, we were so broke, right, that I remember we'd go out to eat, even to a place like Olive Garden, like, probably like $20-something, whatever the case is, right? We couldn't afford 2 plates. So we'll have 1 plate and we'll share. Right? We can't afford soda. We just drink water. That's
right? Put some lemons in there.
Put some lemons in there.
Got lemonade.
Make us a little table lemonade.
Straight.
In all of our struggle years, bro, this woman never ever complained one day. Never spoke to me about a family or friends or whatever and say, I married a broke dude. He couldn't do nothing for me. Never compared me to another man. She had family friends that were buying all these designers, all of that stuff, and I couldn't afford it at the time. Never pressured me, never asked me to buy something she knew I couldn't afford, never made me feel bad. She was the one working at a certain point, paying the mortgage, and I was trying to figure out a ministry, I also figure out business, and never made me feel like I was less of a man because she was making more money at the time. And I feel like those are things that are somehow missing in the culture today, whereby some women, because they're making money, they feel like certain men are beneath them because they're making less. And then they're worried why they're not finding a good man, because the good brother probably is on his way up. And he needs to yoke up with the right person, but There's so much distractions right now.
Yeah.
But I really, really appreciate that about you, babe. And I've told you multiple times, because it would have really tore me down to see that somebody I love,
Yes.
and I couldn't provide for, and was putting pressure on me financially. She never, ever pressured me.
Faith, why? Why didn't you?
Good question.
I mean, I'm trying to, so I'll put it like this. And I don't remember who said it to me. And I really wish I could, because I would absolutely give them their
Flowers.
absolutely. But I remember it was a man or a woman of God, and they said, if you want the king in him to come out, then you need to speak to the king. You need to treat him like a king. You need to do for him as a king. But if you want the child to come out, then speak to him as a child. Treat him like a child. And so my king, I didn't care what I saw right in the moment. It was where we were going. My king is going to know that I've submitted myself for his vision, and he's going to make allotment for my vision to come. Yes, he retired me from working a job, but I can't just sit on my hands. I put my hands to work. I'm a businesswoman. I like to get stuff done. We make things happen. Boom, 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 execute. So I knew that I could trust him to make good on his word. I also knew that, the Bible has a very interesting scripture. I don't know if you remember it. But there's a scripture that says that if the wife is upset with the husband, God won't answer his prayers.
Yep.
I'm just giving you some artillery, okay?
Yeah.
That's what the scripture said. So at any given point in time, whether it was money or it was our communication or whatever was going on, I knew that God had my back.
So did you have older women pouring into you, teaching you this stuff? Where'd this come from?
No, that was a woman of God has said that to me, if I'm not mistaken. A woman of God also told me when I got married, say yes more than you say no.
I feel a yes anointing coming over somebody's household right now. I feel a release.
Listen,
in more ways
some
than one.
brothers
A
happy
release.
right now hearing that.
I'm telling you. And I would tell my clients all day. I would tell my sisters all, because I have 3 sisters. I would tell women all day, say yes more than you say no. Because when you say yes, what you're ultimately doing is you're building that bridge of communication.
Yes.
You're building that identity. You're building that confidence. You're built within him, and let him know that he's wanted. Let him know that he's desirable to you. It can't just be him initiating all the time. And I know you probably thinking, okay, what does this have to do with you not saying or comparing him? Because if I want the king to come out, I have to talk to and speak to the king. And there are a lot of kings, when you look at history, it's not, biblically sound to have all them concubines or what have you, but there's a reason why they have them concubines. Well, baby, I got a wig. Okay, I got a black one, I got a red one, I got a blonde one.
She said, I'm gonna be all your concubines.
Hey, let's
I'm gonna
get
be
it
all
going.
your concubines. She said, I'm gonna allow you to cheat on me with me.
Hello? Come on now. You gotta, So what was happening was we were just building. And then I was together.
Yeah.
And so it didn't make sense to me. Why would I tear him down?
Let me ask you this, because every time you say something, Uyi, you act like you couldn't have achieved this without her. Do you actually believe that?
100% I couldn't.
Why?
Because of who she is.
Okay, I just want y'all to know that this is on tape, and I can replay this anytime I want to.
Yeah, play it every time. Play it anytime.
Because of who she is.
Wow.
She's calm, she's loving, she's selfless, and she believes in me. She loves me unconditionally. She doesn't tear me down. She honors me. I'm trying to be not too emotional right now. So she really built me up because I was really broken. Right? I grew up without my father being at home. I grew up without my mom. I was raised by my grandma. So I never had a sister. I have all brothers, So when I had a woman that really gets me, that was pushing me where everybody out there was trying to tear me down, make money, do this, do that, So that gave me peace. It just helped me to do faster, right? And someone that too is teachable. right? Because even, for example, you know, when we went, I remember probably our first or second time out on a date, you know, at the time she was still kind of like trying to rededicate her life to Christ, you know. Can you imagine telling a woman on a second date, right? At the time she, you know, I wasn't drinking because I was raised in the church, you know, she got like a bottle of beer, you know, and I said, I don't think you should be drinking that. And you know what she said? Okay, that's fine. And she never did that again.
Really? So Faith,
can you imagine a modern day woman will be like, who are you to tell me what to do? So when you have a woman like that will just walk with you, flow with you, you know, not curse you out and be like, who are you to control? Now they'll say it's control, right?
Yeah, it's called control now. You know?
Yeah.
So why is that, Faith?
Now hold on. To him, I said, oh, okay, no problem. Because I can respect people. If you're not a drinker, no problem. I'll put it to the side. It's not a big deal to me. If you're, you know, whatever, cool. When in Rome, do as the Romans.
But when you got away from him, you turned up.
Look here. I called my sister. I was like, sis, wait a minute. Hold on. Did he say, well, what that's the, like, we were just going, but at the end of the day, if this is your consecration and this is what you feel like you need for your anointing to flow in your walk, I can adhere to that. That's fine. I'll do that. You know, it wasn't a big deal because.
So what, you give up drinking then?
Yeah, I did for a very long time.
And then you started back? For a very long time?
Not beer, but probably wine.
Yeah, I won't drink beer or anything, but yeah, I'll have red wine, a glass of wine or what have you.
So when he said that and you got on the phone with your sisters, was that a strike against him?
No, it wasn't. It was just like, what is this all about? To me, it was like, why? What's your deal? What's happening with you? Or why do you feel like that's necessary for your walk? Because here's the thing, you know, I feel like for a long time in the church, what we've had is where people will take their own personal consecrations and preach it like this is what God is saying to everybody. Now, there are things that is for everybody. The word is very explicit. It writes it out. But for some people, there are consecrations that they have to have in order to function the way God wants them to function. And so for me, I was like, well, if that's your consecration, then that got to be my consecration. I went as far as I had a graduation gift given to me because I had graduated. Then he came into my life. It was like less than a year. I had and I love this lady to life. At the time, we had both graduated at the same time from college, and she had given me this beautiful wine set. I still can see that wine set. This is over 20 years ago. I can still see that wine set. Bro, I'm telling you, I let it go and I gave it to somebody else.
Why?
Just because I said, I don't want to be tempted and I don't want to be a stumbling block for him.
Did you ever drink?
No, I never did.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against drinking now, but the way I was raised in church, you know, we're being told that alcohol was absolutely nothing. But now I believe, you know, you can drink in moderation.
And see, I was raised the same way, and I never drank, never missed drinking. It's not, I mean, it's like, it's no benefit for it. It's like literally.
It doesn't taste good to me.
It's actually poison.
It's bitter to me.
Yeah, but the substance is literally poison.
Yes.
It's the reason why you can get the toxins from it is because it's literally toxic. And so that's the reason why. And this lady sent me a video last week, and it showed this one lady who had she's sober now for many years, but she talked about how she said what's so crazy, and she said it baffles her, is that alcohol has been so normalized. And he said alcohol to our culture is what cigarettes was to our parents. Like it was really, really bad, but then they normalized it. They were smoking in the 70s and the 80s and all that stuff. He said, but now everybody drinking like it's water. Like it's water. And it's like it's the most unhealthy thing you can do. And it's the reason why when you drink and you get that buzzing feeling in your brain, it's literally causing it's sending trauma to your brain. And so I just say my heart goes out to the people that's not aware of that, because I believe that You know, when you get in them 70s and 80s and you start getting dementia and all that stuff, it's like you caused trauma to your brain for 25 years.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's this beautiful video I watched that was like 2.5 hours by this neuroscientist that breaks down what alcohol does.
Wow.
And I sat there and I'm telling you, I was one of them dudes that when I was 18, 19, I would be like, I can't wait till I get 21. I'm a drink. And I would look at the menu and I was like, ooh, they so pretty, because I was at TGI Fridays and I was like, ooh, this beautiful, this electric blue little drink with a little pineapple. They're gonna make it look pretty.
Oh yeah.
I said, I can't wait till I turn 21. And then one day, because I had rededicated my life to Christ, and so I was very literal with everything I heard God say. And God said, look at the menu, and it said wine and spirits. And I said, why would I drink something called a spirit? You know what I'm saying? I said, well, why would I do that? And my brother was a stone cold alcoholic, and I would watch him change. He was a very quiet dude. And then he would drink and he would be very aggressive, and we'll be getting kicked out the club, and it was all this stuff. I was like, what? This is not even my brother. You know what I'm saying? He became a superhero when he got liquor in him, and they call it liquid courage. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's a nickname.
And so I was just like, so I started watching that, and I had to abandon my desire when I turned 21 years old for my goal to celebrate my 21st birthday by drinking. I said, I'm a miss out on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I ended up reading in the book of Proverbs. We always hear about the Proverbs 31 woman, but right before it, King Lemuel's mom is telling him to never drink.
Yeah.
She says, I want you to keep sound judgment and to look after the poor and to fight for them, but do not drink. Leave drinking for the poor people so that they can forget about their misery. I said, what?
Yeah. And he said kings don't drink strong wine too.
Yeah.
There's also that part too. Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I said, this is pretty deep. And so that's where I'm at. And so everybody got their own personal journey or whatever. But it's interesting that you took the heart posture at that young, at 23 years old, to say, okay, like, where did you learn this submission from?
I'm telling you. That's why I said hindsight being 2020. I promise you, it was all God, because I'm like, really? Okay, sis, all right, you know. But it made sense for where we were going and what we were doing and what God had before us, because the journey has not been. I mean, it's been fun. We've enjoyed ourselves and we've grown together, but it was a lot of growth.
Of course, 23.
Oh man!
Let me ask you this too, which is something that I can just hear people on social media saying. Where y'all started out when y'all had nothing at 23, what would you say to somebody 33 dating a guy that don't have much? Would you recommend the same advice of submission? And that's to Uyi and you, Faith. Do you say that, hey, if a man don't have nothing at 33, 43, it's the same thing. He needs his woman to help build.
So for me, I would say it depends on why he has nothing at 33,
it's
right?
The why.
Excuse me, and why he has nothing at 43, right? We're young, so there's some, leverage to that, right? But if, for example, he just missed it out, or he was raised the wrong way, go get a job, and now he's 30-something now, he can't find a good career, or he's 40, or he made a mistake, or whatever the case is, The point is this, if he's ready now, right, he's a good man, he's developing himself, right? He's growing and he's walking with God. He's a good man. He's ready to provide, ready to work hard. Even if he has to go clean McDonald's, he doesn't care. He's a good man. He's going to commit to you. He wants to build with you, Why not give him a chance? Instead of fooling with that other one who is already established, but don't really want you anyway. Or just want you around when you go to the club because you dress sexy and fine, but don't want to keep you, right? So why is he broke at 33 or 43, right? Is it ready to grow now? Some people made mistakes too. They were raised the wrong way and stuff like that. So that's what I would say. I don't know what you think.
No, I think the why is the biggest thing about it, because if you're 33 or 43 and stuff isn't working out financially, are you doing something about it? Are you in a posture of growing? Are you going to events? Are you listening? Are you reading? Right. I also realized too that there's a lot of men who the emotional intelligence is not there within themselves.
Right. Yes.
So those type of men, I say that's a bit of a red flag, because in all these years, why haven't you developed emotionally? Because emotional intelligence is bigger than intellect, like IQ and EQ.
Yeah.
EQ, people who have a high EQ have a greater ability to be successful, and they are the most successful versus people who are just smart.
Right.
It's that EQ part. And so if he's not regulating himself emotionally to handle you, to handle life, to handle vision, to have a dream and to be working towards those dreams. Yeah, he talked a big talk, but it was a lot of stuff going on that had to, how many businesses have we done and failed? Some worked, some didn't work. Some was working at the top and we were like, oh, we tasting 6 figures. We enjoying it. And then all of a sudden, boom, it goes down. Is he licking his wounds for forever? Or is he picking himself back up?
Yeah.
Is he trying to get out there? Even while he has tears in his eyes, he's still going towards the goal. That's the type of person, me personally, I can work with. And even as a big sister and, a spiritual mom to many, you can work with that type of individual. But somebody who, this happened.
And they ain't got up since.
And they got up. What is you doing?
Lazarus, come forth.
He was like, man, I tried it, man. The white man.
Oh my God.
See, that's what I'm saying. It ain't meant for me to succeed because I tried that 20 years ago. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Like, bro.
That was 20 years ago.
That was 20 years ago. I missed out on Bitcoin. But guess what? I'm still out here. We're going to figure something out. I'm going to jump on this digital products or whatever. Like,
so what are some projects that y'all have done or some business y'all had that just failed?
Well, we failed over 13 businesses.
You had 13 businesses?
Over 13 businesses.
Name some of what y'all did.
We had a restaurant.
Correct.
What was that? What kind of restaurant?
Skytop Cafe. Right?
Great idea.
Great idea, but wrong location.
Location and wrong demographic for the location.
We're trying to have a healthy
coffee shop
in the hood.
In the hood.
No, literally.
You are a prophet. You saw that in the spirit.
Yeah, I saw it.
We were like, man, we're gonna help our people.
We're gonna help our people. They say, well, we're gonna go to the chicken place down the street. I don't know what.
And it was literally in the same shop. The chicken place was literally in the same shop. Oh my God.
Don't leave our sandwich shop and go eat the bad food. And they were overweight and obese. So it was a great idea, but wrong location. So that failed. We had a print shop. We had a t-shirt business.
We had next FedEx.
Y'all gonna be next?
Is it FedEx or
Kinko's?
Kinko's. That's what it was.
Kinko's.
It's the reason why Kinko's.
Yeah, we did that. We had a car dealership.
Yeah, a car dealership. How long y'all had that?
I had that for about 2 years.
Yeah, that was a good one.
How'd that go?
It was good.
It was very good.
But we made a lot of money though.
We did.
But
it was good.
when we started Vonza, the software company, right? Mm-hmm. The Bible says if you're single, your whole body will be full of light, right? So focus, right? So we saw that it was just taking too much of our time and the software was a better option. But one of the reasons why I really let it go was that many used car dealership, they're not going to make heaven. Right? because many of them are not really saved. To really make money as a
you gotta be crooked. You got a lot of people.
You gotta lie. You gotta do crazy stuff. The car not working. You're gonna jump it just before the person comes to make it look good.
We had the car running for you. We had the car running for you because we knew you was coming. Nah, bro, we had to jump that before you got over here. Oh my God.
No, I couldn't do that, man, because I was too safe to play all the games with that.
I done got suckered out of that when I was in my early 18, 19, getting my first car, them little tote-to-no places or whatever. And I had the car, like, man, these cars, and they be overpriced.
Yep.
And then you be paying weekly. You know what I'm saying? And then I was conditioned to go to those places first.
That's right.
When, though I didn't have credit, I still could have got a better quality car.
Yes.
Because some interest rates on those tote-to-no places be crazy. And I remember one day I said, I'm finna just go text. I'm finna just go test it. And I went to Lexus to go get a car. And they was like, oh, okay, you're approved. And I said, well, why was I going to these other little places get these little things? Like, clearly your first time buyer, we got programs for you. And I said, this hood mentality been having me stuck in poverty. You know what I'm saying? Paying extreme interest rates and with a piss poor car. You know what I'm saying?
So, and then you got to put more money into the car
to keep it rolling.
That's money that you could have just went to the...
A lot of car dealership, they're not going to make heaven, man. I'm telling you, girl, gonna make heaven because there are somebody never ever trust.
Man.
I don't trust a dentist because I've helped a lot of them make money, so I know the trick of the game. I don't trust a car salesperson, especially a used car salesperson. Is shady. It's hard to. You can make money, but to make a lot of money, there's a lot of shady stuff going on. The math doesn't ever make sense.
The math don't be math.
But people get so caught up on the emotions of driving a car that they don't think about the math. It never makes sense.
I bet your dealerships hate to see you come to buy a car.
Oh yeah,
because he negotiate. Everything is negotiable. Nothing is off limits. Let's get it.
I'm also Nigerian.
It's in your blood. Huh? Y'all both Nigerian. It's
No,
both
but
y'all
see,
blood.
but I'm more Americanized than he is in that area. And I'm like, babe, you gonna make them mad. That's okay. Let's run it. God, dog.
You
And I
gonna
be
make
like,
them
ooh. I don't want them looking at me crazy. I just be drinking my drink. Ask him.
Yeah, my husband, child. I hear you. That's my husband. Be on your phone talking about him. I'm on Instagram.
I don't know. We gonna walk out of here.
And so the car dealership you had for a couple of years, did it fail or did you just walk away from it because of and you felt like it was the integrity thing?
The integrity. It was stressful.
It was stressful.
You have to work so hard.
What city did you have that in?
In Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, in Atlanta. Yeah, you have to work so hard to make money. And then I was just in a place whereby I just wanted to make more while working less.
So let me ask you this. So y'all met in Dallas, got married in Houston, and moved to Atlanta.
Man, that was right. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Then we moved to Atlanta. And that's when really, if you're struggling, move to Atlanta.
Don't move to Atlanta.
Yeah, God is not.
I'm gonna tell you, don't come. We packed. It's full. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Do you think it's easy to find a spouse in Atlanta?
From what I heard through the grapevine, because I ain't looking, I'm not on the market, right?
But your friends, what your friends say?
It's a no. It's an absolute no.
Yeah, you know why. Yeah, it's harder now.
It's and then
But y'all met in Dallas.
We met
in Arlington?
No,
Because your church was
in Houston.
So your church was in Arlington?
Was in Arlington, yeah. Arlington, Texas, yeah.
Then
So-
we went back
Because you got
to Houston.
you got an 817 number. That's why I was like,
I
you
still
have an
kept
Arlington
my-
number.
We kept it.
We still kept our numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
We were here for
kept it.
6 years.
We were. But all of our family, I won't say all of our family, but a lot of our family is in Houston.
Yeah.
So if we're having an event or we're doing something special, we'll go to Houston.
Okay.
'Cause that's where everybody's at.
Yeah.
How did your family feel about him moving you to Atlanta?
Oh, still to this day. Well, whenever you decide to come back to Texas, we'll be here. We know. Y'all gonna be in the spot. We know.
Yeah.
We here waiting on you.
We waiting.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on.
And so what was some obstacles that y'all faced in y'all marriage which made y'all, did y'all have any moments in y'all marriage where y'all were rethinking the voice of God?
Yes.
And at what stage and what season and how many years into it?
Here's the thing. I feel like a lot of times people think, oh, well, God said.
Yep.
God can say, and he will say, but that does not mean that you will not have to fight battles.
Yeah.
Sometimes the battles is with each other. Sometimes the battles is within yourself. Like you have to grow. You have to develop. I liken marriage to discipleship.
Yes.
The same way you are constantly pulling and tugging on the hem of Jesus' garment for your daily bread, for what you need, for being the type of person that he born you to be, is the same way you have to constantly be changing, constantly be evolving and growing together, right? Some people say, oh, we grew apart. No, to a certain extent that may be true, but in the same token, I know that sometimes there are situations that you face that are so hard.
Yeah.
And they just make you question everything, and you can really lean on your own understanding, even though you're not supposed to.
What moment was that for y'all? What moment did y'all face where you felt like, this is hard?
Man.
Yeah, I think there's several. Like, for example,
Several. One today, as a matter of fact.
Financially was one.
Yeah, financially
right.
was.
Then also
yeah.
too many times, because we married so fast and didn't give, actually, it's outside of the family, enough time to kind of get used to me as a son coming to the family. There was tension with me and feeling rejection from outside of the family and having to walk through that. And also too, we both coming from two different walks of life too.
Yeah.
She's Nigerian, but she was born in America.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is the culture she's pretty much used to. I'm from Nigeria, so some culture shock issue coming into play as well.
So you came to the United States at what age?
Like 18 or so.
Okay, so
So he's he's really Nigerian. I'm more American.
Nigerian, But one thing about us that really helped us was that we've always been about personal growth, right? So we've always been learning about how to be better, right? We read books. We went to conferences. We set rules in our own marriage as well. For example, one of the reasons why in 20 years, to the glory of God, we're not going to take all the credit. We've never had like a fight. We've not had anybody come to try to settle us or talk to us or marriage intervention or whatever, because one of the reasons was that we both came from kind of broken home systems. So I told that when we first got married, I said, okay, I don't want a divorce or this crazy stuff that I've experienced growing up in my parents' marriage, So pretty much signed a contract that we're going to have a hitch-free, peace-loving marriage and relationship, So if that's the goal, then how do we achieve that goal, right? So that's how we've thought, So one of the things I discovered has been one of the secrets to having a very amazing marriage. I discovered that the number one thing we needed to have a great marriage, somebody needs to get this right now, is to outkind each other every day. That was it. If we could wake up every day and think of how we can outkind each other, it will be hard not to have a great marriage.
That's true.
So, because the reason why, in my opinion, why most marriages fail is selfishness.
Yes.
Which also gives birth to self-centeredness. You didn't do this for me. I'm not happy. I'm not this, But it's not always about you. So put the other person first, right? So every day I'm thinking, and she's doing too, how can I be kind? How can I talk in a kind way? How can I behave in a kind way? Even though my feelings might be hurt. Right? Always going to be the first to say sorry, right? Not like, oh, you hurt me, so you should say sorry. It don't matter, because my goal is to be kind to you. My goal is to be loving to you. My goal is to be amazing to you. So outkinding each other every day have really, really worked well for us. And I believe is a golden nugget when it comes to marriage, because when you're kind to that person, it's hard to be thinking about yourself, which is one of the problems with marriages today. So much self-centeredness. Why didn't it work out? I wasn't happy. It didn't do this. It's always about me. I'm not me. But when you are kind to that person, it's hard to.
And I was going to say too, like whenever we are we're having a discussion or we're heated fellowship, what we make sure we don't do is we don't stand.
Great.
You have to be seated. You cannot stand and be arguing or having.
Confrontational.
It does.
So, no, hold on. First of all, you're like, well, I'm going to stand up.
If you stand up, I'm standing up too. Okay, you getting up, I'm getting up.
Let's try one thing, right?
You ain't got no wig on. I ain't got no wig on either.
Let's see right now, right? It's hard to fight sitting.
So
can you imagine trying to fight sitting? But if one person stand, the adrenaline, the emotion,
it flows better. It's psychological too.
Another important
can just flow up and down.
So if sometimes you might forget, but then the other person has to remind, okay, so you have to sit down so we can talk. So we had the rule when there's an argument. No standing up. You have to sit. Go ahead.
I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Because I'm looking at my own self. When I get emotional, I'll stand up, get the pacing and walking. And
because your adrenaline is going. So you're trying to work it off. But if somebody else is coming at you, and just depending on what your communication style is, I'm a confrontational person. I'm the oldest of 5. So I have to be confrontational to get stuff done. Like, we got to get this done. Let's go.
So they stand up on you. You
I'm standing up. Like, you got a problem, then guess what? I got a problem too. Let's talk about it. Let's get it. Let's say, handle up, So it's like, I can know I was raised that way. I'm used to that. That's my norm. And I now carry that right into my marriage. A lot of people, I believe a lot of divorce is not because of sex, money, and communication. It's really soul issues. It's really the burdens of the heart and the things that we haven't dealt with within ourselves as individuals that now have the opportunity to come out and express themselves within the marriage, because your partner is a mirror. Everything that you think that you're so good at and you're so awesome and you're so wonderful, they will tell you, well, actually, you do this, you do that, you do, and you definitely do like this. Right? And it's like we've never seen that side of ourselves.
Yes.
You're used to you on the inside. They have to experience you on the outside.
Facts.
So who are you?
Yeah.
And so that can be a reality.
And I think too, because if you look at the statistics, it say it's money, sex, communication, three biggest reasons. So we make sure that communication, we talk good. We never use like the B word, the this and that on each other. We like edify each other, right? But financially,
we don't be cussing like that.
No, because some stuff you just can't bounce back from.
So then financially too, financial security is also very important too for a woman.
Yes.
So even though we didn't have, but she knew I had a plan. And then when things started working out, I had to make sure that it's always financial transparency. Because you see, if the woman don't trust how the money is going or where the money is going, it's going to make her feel some form of insecurity in the marriage, right? Yeah. So I make sure that she knows how much we're making, what we're spending, what we're planning on, right? If I get myself a little toy, I make sure she gets a toy too.
Yeah.
You know, even when...
Look at you looking.
Yeah.
You gotta balance it out.
Exactly, right? Because then, you know, she knows that we're in this together.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you want, like, what was your dream car? Did you even want a Rolls Royce?
No. Okay, so my thing was, I'm not a car person. I'm more of, let's go out to eat. When I go to the store and I see something, I buy it. Like, that's my
But back on this matching Rolls Royces y'all got.
No, I'm not. I drive it. I like it. I'm going to pull up.
So what's your favorite car?
My favorite car. That's right. Okay, that was the question. My car is
G-Wagon?
Yeah, I love the
G-Wagon.
But you ain't get a G-Wagon?
Not yet. Not yet.
Nah.
Yeah.
And
but,
I mean,
I'll drive that. She likes too, though. That, you know, Ferrari.
It costs less than the Rolls Royce you got.
You see how I'm trying to help him out here?
Ferrari looks good on her too.
No,
we had
Ferrari looks
for a little while.
It was cute.
Ferrari.
You got a Ferrari?
Yes, a little bit. Yeah, but that was really good on her too, you know.
That thing is
I'm
low.
a car guy.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a car guy. I get bored with cars a lot. So
you switch out every year?
Now I'm getting better. You are such a prophet, though.
It's tasking.
It should be every 6 months. Yeah, every 6 months I'll switch to the car.
And I'll ride a car. I will ride a car.
So the wheels fall off.
Oh, and it'll be clean. But I'm not switching it out. I want my little, and I want to travel. I want my little tchotchkes and, you know, the kind of deal.
So what's your love language? Out of 5 love language.
Physical touch is my primary. The second is words of affirmation.
Okay. And what's yours?
Acts of service.
And
gifts.
In that order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So that
it makes
can
sense.
lead to some stuff too.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to love you in my love language, but that doesn't mean that you're receiving that love language.
Yeah.
So then I have to check myself and say, okay, is that what fills up his love tank?
Yes.
So touch, and sometimes people will see me and I'm like this, or I'm just scratching his hair, or I won't answer calls because I'm scratching I'll call you back. I'm gonna help him take a nap because I know if I scratch his hair enough, he gonna fall asleep.
And then you get on the phone.
Look, and then I'm over here yakking it up, girl. No, I will call you back. I'll call you back, girl. Let it go.
Scratch his head.
Yeah.
And y'all been married for how many years now? 20?
20 years this year.
20 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love seeing kingdom marriages. 20 years. How did y'all overcome those moments? I know you said that y'all would put rules of engagement. Y'all have those and how to fight fair. But how did y'all overcome those moments to where everything that y'all put in place, the rules of engagement to make sure we don't stand when we're in a heated fellowship and those moments, how did you overcome those moments where none of that was enough and you said, did you ever have moments where you felt like you married the wrong person?
Absolutely.
And how did you overcome that?
I'm honest, and I know when people say it, it sounds cliche, but I'm not kidding you. Literally, by prayer. I'm talking about prayer. Like, Lord, if it's something in me
Good.
that's adding to this, let me know. Like, tell me about myself. If it's something in him, help him work through it, help him heal, And I'm, praying those type of prayers for myself too, because we really don't realize what it takes. Like, I think I studied psychology. Okay. So I know people, human behavior. I love just people watching. It's fun to me. But it's different when you're married, because now you're getting to know someone on such an intimate and deep level that you have to have the love of God literally ruling your heart. Facts. You money, not a big deal. Where you're at, not a big deal. Looks, not a big deal. Is the love of God in your heart? Because if it is not, you will face some of the most trying, unsurmountable issues, and you're literally living life with somebody. And thank you, babe. Literally living life with somebody. And you get to your darkest moments. They're at their darkest moments. Who do you turn to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your rock. That's your support. Then who are you turning to? Who are y'all both kneeling to?
Yeah. Uyi, let me ask you, how'd you overcome those moments?
So for me, it's been just one. Who do I want to just ask?
Let me ask you, have you even had those moments? I'm just assuming you have.
Yeah,
so you had moments where you like, I don't want to.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm spicy. Yeah. I know shoot, let's play for real.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. But usually on my younger, immature days, sometimes, for example, when I was broke, nobody wanted me. Okay.
All right. So now he said,
So now when you start getting some money, people start slitting your DMs, making you feel like you all of that, and sometimes you can forget for a minute and start entertaining different type of people. I've had that type of situation to like most men, Yeah. But at the end of the day, though, I've always just know how to just kind of think and be honest with myself. At the end of the day, who do I want to live and spend the rest of my life with?
That's good.
Mm-hmm. She's the only one I want to spend the rest of my life with. So it doesn't matter what I feel. It doesn't matter what I experience. It doesn't matter what happens. At the end of the day, she's the one I want to live the rest of my life with. Right?
Have you ever overstepped those boundaries and where infidelity became a part of your relationship?
Yeah, we've had stuff like that.
And then how'd y'all come back from that?
I said mine.
Prayer.
Yeah.
And so and a love for each other too.
Yes, a love for each other. But then also too, it was a lot of communication and working through
what caused it. There it is.
Because if you can't get to the root of a thing, then you can't actually overcome.
There it is.
There's no way.
Yeah. And for me, I was just looking for affection and love.
Yep.
Because I never had it growing up. So anybody that just made me feel like I was all this and that, I just kind of tend to just kind of open me up to that, And my wife had to always kind of point that to me and just pour into me, and then I just realize it and just kind of develop my own personal walk with God to stronger in that area as well,
What I love about it, first of all, thank y'all for y'all transparency and vulnerability. But what I love is the ability to build legacy and not to let a decision that is a fleeting moment dictate your legacy. Mm-hmm. Because you said some key points, Uyi, where you talked about this woman that you have. This is who I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
Whoever else it was, whatever moments, it could have been on both y'all's end. I don't like just assume it's just on one person's end, but it's a moment. And y'all said, I don't want to give up legacy and building. And y'all have kids? Mm-hmm. How many kids y'all have? You have 3 kids. Legacy. You know what I'm saying? That y'all find the value in what y'all build together and the legacy that y'all want to leave. That y'all say this is superior than these moments, these isolated moments that we have, which is absolutely beautiful. How did y'all, so your last iteration that built your wealth on, what was that business venture?
Yeah, so we've done multiple businesses, but one of the things that really helped us started coaching people. Yeah. And then we created a software, right, to help people to monetize their knowledge and expertise. So it's an all-in-one software called Vonza, right? So that's really where our biggest wealth is in terms of equity, right?
Right.
At the last valuation, it was at $100 $100 million, right? I don't have $100 million.
Of course not. Yeah,
we have a couple of millions, but not 100 yet in the bank account. But if we're to sell today, right? But we hope that by the grace of God, we'll sell maybe in the next 5 to 8 years at $1 billion. So that's been one of our biggest. We also have a Christian university too, right? We have a Christian university. We have coaching. We have different type of investments here and there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell y'all, I can talk to y'all all day. When I say I just love real people, I love people in the body of Christ that want to be transparent and just share. A lot of times people, they operate in such shame that because I was trying to see if y'all gonna go there, because a lot of times people like to just blanket statements. Yeah, we've been through some things and God overcame it and we prayed and God helped. No, what is it? It's people watching right now that want to know. We have prime example. It's a guy that called me the other day and he said his wife wants a divorce because I said, did you cheat on her? He said, no. He said it was a house that she wanted that was a certain amount of money and he couldn't afford that. So he got a house that was closer in what he could afford. And he feels as though his wife is cheating on him with another guy that could afford that lifestyle.
Wow.
And I don't want to give too many details because she may be watching and be like, hey, let's reach out to the old Dear Future Wifey. But he called me heartbroken. And he's like, man, and she wants me out. And for that man to hear that he's been replaced because, like I said, there's always more to the story, but the story he's giving me is that from a financial standpoint, that he's not where she would want him to be in order to give the lifestyle that she wants. You know how that man is the textbook person that can be now part of the red pill community. Because what happens is when a man goes to that level of hurt, I can't trust women. You can give women faithfulness. You can give women love and care and attention. But if you don't got your money on the level that they see, got a house, but it ain't a $500,000 house. It's not $1 million home. He says, forget it. And then he goes on the bitter spectrum and hates women. You know what I'm saying? And so I love what y'all started out talking about is the fact that y'all curated this together. I believe that there's a responsibility for both parties. If we really look at the book of Proverbs 31, when you read the Proverbs 31 woman, that woman is bad. That woman is building. That woman is good in real estate. That woman is working late. So her lamp doesn't run out of oil because she's up working and grinding and making garments for her family. Like that level of stuff. But you hear women talking about they want this man to give them a soft life. But that Proverbs 31 woman was everything but soft by way of what she was doing. And the Bible says that her husband got praise at the city's gate for her. The Bible says that a woman is a crown upon her husband's head. So that means that he should get his glory from his wife. They're like, you got a bad woman, not just because she's fine, but she's bad because the way she handles you, the way she's planning your head and comforting you in those moments when you're stressed out, when you're frustrated. It should be those moments where you getting straight turned on because you're hearing her get spicy and talking and affirming you. And you like, girl, you okay, we on this yellow couch now. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tell the Terrace to leave. We about to get something popping, because that's what that woman should do. And the fact that she said that she could speak to the king in you, or she could speak to the boy in you, the child, she could be a self-fulfilling prophecy in your life by treating you like a boy, handling you like a boy, and then she getting the self-fulfilling prophecy where you're acting like a boy, or she can speak to you as a king, and then you begin to build this kingdom. That's what I got from this thing. Anything else you want to leave before I let y'all go?
So I'm going to start. So thank you for having us. It's been a great time. I think one of the things we're very, very passionate about together, excuse me, is financial freedom for people. One of the things in the, event we did together, one of the things I also said to, one of the reasons why marriages should be very, very important, especially in the Black culture, is that it's one of the ways to build wealth in the culture. Can you imagine if one person is making $50,000 a year, the other person making $50,000 a year? Together, that's $100,000. That's six figure to raise children, compared to a woman by herself raising 3 children making $50,000 a year, right? So brothers out there, because I hear from a lot of women, and also with my wife as well, a lot of women want to get married, but it's just harder now to find a brother too sometimes that wants to be married and not just having like 20 different girlfriends, right? So a brother right there, there's a divine responsibility on you as well, not just only to be a man, but also to find a woman that God wants you to help establish his kingdom with on the earth, and also to, that's one reason we created the software Vonza, where you can create courses, community, digital products as well to enable people to build financial freedom online. So
Good.
Marriages are good. Life is hard by itself. Find the right person to do life together with in a good marriage.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Faith, any closing remarks?
My thing is this. I believe marriage works. And it works because God is the one that instituted it. The only reason why marriage doesn't work is because of people.
There it is.
That's deep.
There it is.
It's just people. But the institution by itself is God breathed, God established, and God ordained. So when he's in the mix of it, he's going to make it work. But both parties have to be a part of that. And once you do that, it's great. And let me just say this from my sisters, because I feel like y'all was saying some stuff and I just want to even the playing field here. I feel like, too, one of the things that I've been hearing is that a lot of women do and don't mind starting or, starting from the ground up or having to build or what have you, but they've been being left behind for the other women who didn't stick around, who weren't there when they had nothing, who didn't pour into them. And so that's that bitter pill, right?
Yep.
But I also believe that like attracts like. And so when we are seeing a certain thing in our life over and over and over again, we have to say, okay, what's really going on in me and in my heart? Because if I'm showing up a certain way, I hope I didn't mess it up. If I'm showing up a certain way, then that's going to force him to show up a certain kind of way too.
Good.
Because that's how God made it.
Awesome.
When I tell y'all dropped so many gems on this, I'm gonna share this real quick.
Share.
I want to.
And last I heard, are you married now, bro?
No, I'm single, looking to be married. I said I'm gonna be engaged by the end of this year. I don't know who it's gonna be, but
Amen.
So at the end of each episode, I write letters to my future wifey. But in this episode, I recorded it before I ever heard the interview, and what I said was, I love the gems that the Abraham dropped. And I'm saying all this stuff, not even having talked to y'all. So y'all get a chance to see behind the scenes of what happens. I wrote this letter before I interviewed y'all. And this is so on point. This is the letter. It says, Dear Future Wifey, from the beginning, we decided to define our own rules and create a relationship that truly reflects who we are as individuals and as a couple. We won't be confined by society's expectations or pressure to conform to traditional roles. Instead, we'll honor our authentic selves and embrace the beauty of our distinct love. Loving each other outside the norm means celebrating our differences and finding harmony in our individuality. We'll prioritize open communication, honesty, and vulnerability, allowing us to grow together and navigate life's challenges hand in hand. Our connection will be rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and a deep appreciation for each other's unique qualities. Submitting to the process of loving each other outside the norm also means being adaptable and flexible. That's the stuff you were touching on. We'll face obstacles and moments of doubt, but we'll approach them with an open mind and a willingness to learn and grow. Together, we'll find creative solutions and support each other in ways that may surprise even ourselves. I am committed to nurturing a relationship that defies convention and thrives on authenticity.
Wow.
And that's what this whole episode was about. Yeah. Unbeknownst to me, that's what y'all were going to talk about, or that was the fabric of y'all's relationship, that's what y'all live. Y'all give it up for the Abrahams, y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Been writing these love letters to you.
Ladarian thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, Black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, Black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Laterras R. Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode with the Abrahams. Listen, it was absolutely amazing. Such valuable gems that they shared. I love their origin story. You know, I love to ask couples how they met and what made them decide to choose each other. Because a lot of times people kind of skew the choosing only for the man. Yes, he identifies his wife, but the woman has to confirm that he is in fact her husband. So I love what they shared. Listen, here's my favorite part of the podcast where I speak to my future wifey. Dear Future Wifey, from the beginning, we decided to define our own rules and create a relationship that truly reflects who we are as individuals and as a couple. We won't be confined by society's expectations or pressured to conform to traditional roles. Instead, we will honor our authentic selves and embrace the beauty of our distinct love. Loving each other outside the norm means celebrating our differences and finding harmony in our individuality. We'll prioritize open communication, honesty, and vulnerability, allowing us to grow together and navigate life's challenges hand in hand. Our connection will be rooted in mutual respect, understanding, and a deep appreciation for each other's unique qualities. Submitting to the process of loving each other outside the norm also means being adaptable and flexible. We'll face obstacles and moments of doubt, but we'll approach them with an open mind and a willingness to learn and grow together. We'll find creative solutions and support each other in ways that may surprise even ourselves. I am committed to nurturing a relationship that defies convention and thrives in authenticity. Your future hubby. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving. Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.